This morning, we are looking at Earth Week by the numbers. The 53rd annual Earth Day is this weekend. So we are looking at the environmental impacts of what we eat, what we buy, and how we can do our part for the planet. NBC News business and data reporter Brian Cheung is here. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning.
Brian, welcome back.
So you're going to break down all the numbers for Earth Day. Let's start with what we eat. Could possibly being a vegetarian kind of save the environment?
Yeah, well, diet is so important, and we know that meat it takes up so much in resources, right? So the stat I have for you is 5%. That's according to Gallup, the percentage of American adults that consider themselves to be vegetarian. Now, that's not a huge number, but the other stat I have here that comes from Gallup, it's or YouGov, 63% say that they eat plant-based meals or incorporate vegetarian meals into their diet, right? When I go down to the South, I go to Texas after a lot of barbecue. Even I will incorporate like a week of salads afterwards, right? So I would be in that stat here. 1.2 million meals saved, though. We also have to think about food waste. This statistic comes from Too Good To Go. It's a program that actually recycles by linking businesses together to take food that's about to expire to make sure that it doesn't go to waste. And we all need to do that at a personal level, too. Don't put too much onto your plate. Literally, make sure that you can only eat whatever you end up
put on your plate.
Exactly, exactly.
So it's good for the body and the environment.
Exactly.
All right, let's talk about, since we're talking about by the numbers, let's talk about how travel factors into the environment.
Yeah, so emissions are really big, right? Every time we get into our car, 4.6 metric tons annually. That's just your personal car. That's a lot of emissions. So how can we save from that, right? 37%, that's according to Oxford, 67% according to Oxford, say you can actually save that emissions by biking instead of driving if you're able to make that commute by bike, maybe do that. And 37% will be the amount of emissions that you'd save if you took a train instead of flying. Again, not always an option, but that's very significant. And by the way, that number is going to get bigger depending on how much farther you're traveling by train. So all of these things just kind of tell us that we should be mindful of the modes of transportation as well.
Good.
So, Brian, when we're shopping, how do we make more sustainable choices?
Yeah, a lot of people are like, well, why does shopping matter, right? Well, we have a statistic that comes from the IVL report that says 28.2 million tons in carbon would be how much we could save if we reused, recycled not just clothes, but also furniture as well. A lot of people they buy from
Instead
IKEA.
of going to buy.
Yeah, and then they just toss it afterwards. Try to pass it down to somebody else. 48%, this is according to Blue Yonder, say that they're interested in sustainable shopping. This could be thrifting, for example. You go walk in the East Village, you can see how many thrift shops there are.
Sure.
A lot of people are interested in this type of thing.
Yard sales.
Yard sales as well. That's another way to do it in the suburbs. 31% say that they thrift frequently. That's according to Blue Yonder as well. And 25% will be the amount of emissions that we could save by buying secondhand. That's according to ThreadUp. So thrifting could be cheaper, and it could also be fun.
And makes Macklemore happy.
And makes Macklemore happy. Yeah, with a big coat.
That was impressive.
Good reference. I like that.
That was impressive.
Okay, Al. Okay.
So give us some top line numbers here, Brian, for Earth Week.
Yeah.
What's 10%? What's the significance of that?
Yeah, so 10% is the amount of Americans that participated in the first Earth Day, which was in 1970.
It's got to be higher now.
It's got to be a lot higher now, but 1,673 renewable energy plants, if you include hydroelectric, solar, wind, and others, according to the EPA. So, again, we're being more mindful of just the mix of energy that we're using. And again, we actually have one more big number for all of you guys now to kind of wrap all this up. And you're asking about that 10%. 1 billion, that's how many people now mobilize for action each Earth Day. And that includes, obviously, us five. And we should all try to do our part as we get to Earth Day on Saturday to do our part to save the planet.
Here's a number for you. Which state in the U.S. has produces the most sustainable energy, renewable energy, wind, solar, stuff like that?
Which state?
I'm going to guess.
I would actually guess New York State.
I was going to
Washington State.
I have no idea.
Texas.
What?
Texas.
Wow.
That's a nice
Really?
fact.
Okay.
By the way, great kicks.
Oh, thank you.
Those are
thank
great
you.
kicks.
These were not thrifted, to be fair. I do have a lot of other thrifted kicks. So.
But you can donate them.
I could donate them after.
Exactly. Brian, thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on our streaming channel, Today All Day. To watch, head to today.com/allday or click the link right here.